Hey, what's up everyone, Raging Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. Though I guess that's not entirely true in this situation. It's actually quite a sad day right now. Because at the time I'm recording this, I have just found out that Count Dankula has been convicted and will most likely be sentenced to prison for the heinous crime of telling a joke that may have offended somebody and hurt some fifis. I'm not exaggerating, that's literally what he got convicted of. This guy is most likely gonna be spending some time in prison for being, and I quote, grossly offensive on the internet. Welcome to the free world, everybody. This is current year UK. And sadly, this is just par for the course for the UK as it exists right now. Let's take a look at some of the other stuff going on in this country that is allegedly part of the free world. Though after hearing what I have to say, hopefully the entire rest of the free world will revoke the UK's membership in that club. In addition to jailing people for telling jokes on the internet, they also arrested and denied entry into their country people who they simply deem as too controversial, notably Lauren Southern and a few others. And the best part about that is they are refused entry into the country on their terrorism laws. Yeah, that's right, their terrorism laws. So despite not preaching violence, despite never having been violent, at least on any of the records I've seen, peaceful people are now being banned from the UK on terrorism laws. If nothing else, this should serve as a warning to the entire rest of the world how laws can be blatantly abused. Then there's the video I did about them last week too, about how people face up to 15 years of jail time if their new laws go through, for the heinous crime of viewing far-right propaganda on the internet more times than they deem acceptable. And they're gonna swear up and down that, oh no, this isn't a thought crime, we're not thought policing you. Yes, you fucking are, shut the fuck up. You just gotta love it when they try to pull this shit, huh? They say they need to push this law through because of the increase of terrorism in their country, and then they specifically single out a group of people that hasn't been committing any acts of terrorism in their country. It's kind of funny, isn't it? I guess it would be racist to go after the real culprits, wouldn't it? But if you thought them thought policing you in the real world was bad enough, no, this is the UK. They're not gonna stop there. They're also thought policing fiction. They went and banned Omega Labyrinth Z on the baseless claim that it allegedly promotes the sexualization of children, despite the fact that it doesn't. And Peggy and the ESRB, it's okay with them. So I guess according to the UK standards, they're a bunch of pedophiles that promote the sexualization of children. But again, this is the UK we're talking about here. They're not gonna let facts, logic, or the truth get in the way of their agenda. They of course played the usual bullshit card that, oh well, young people might get a hold of this game and it may be harmful to them. Okay, fine, why aren't you banning literally everything that's not rated E for everyone, huh? 'Cause young people will be attracted to it and they'll get their hands on it. Isn't this like the literal definition of censorship here? You can't have a steak because a baby can't chew it? That's pretty much the only argument they're making. Oh, there exists a tiny fraction of people that are total idiots and can't differentiate between fiction and reality, so because of that, nobody can have this stuff. How about instead we just round up these idiots and lock them in padded rooms where they belong? It's not all that hard to find who they are. They usually proudly declare themselves on the internet all the damn time. So yeah, the UK is all for literal thought policing now. And before anyone says I'm overreacting and oh this doesn't count as thought policing, what else do you consider banning works of complete fiction? Trust me, if these people could read your mind, they would be punishing you for what you think. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the ultimate goal of the UK. That's what they aspire to. They read 1984 and they were using it as an instruction manual at first. Now they're like, what the hell's this crap? This doesn't go nearly far enough. And these 4 things I just mentioned are the tip of the iceberg too. There's plenty more to see. The UK has effectively declared war on freedom both on and off the internet, both in the real world and in fantasy land. You don't even have to be real to be their target anymore. So I gotta ask you guys again over there in the UK, is this what you left the EU for? Is this why you voted for Brexit? Is the only reason you wanted to leave the EU because they wouldn't let you go far enough? 'Cause that's what it's looking like to me. On the plus side though, once the Brexit negotiations are done, the UK government no longer has any scapegoat. They can no longer say, oh well, EU told us to do it, sorry, our hands are tied. Nah, that excuse ain't gonna fly anymore. All this totalitarian Orwellian shit they're pulling right now is entirely on them. And you do well to remember that, because if this continues, the UK is doomed. Any of you who are unfortunate enough to be stuck there, either get ready to revolt or get out now while you can before Brexit is finalized. Honestly, at this point, the only way I see to save that country would be to completely dissolve the government and recreate it from scratch. The corruption is just way too deep there. But for what it's worth, if you guys want to, I for one would gladly welcome you here in the US. We could use decent people to join us here because I suspect we are no more than 10 years off from this exact same crap happening in the US. The more decent people with a respect for individual liberty we could gather in one place, the better off we'll be. And that's all I gotta say, guys. Thanks for listening.